societies are asked to use by the government to investigate whether it's safe to do these things. And we got a letter from them saying, we have had a look at this. We have intelligence that tells us that you and Stuart are targeted for kidnapping. So you're not to come, and the conference must not be held because not only are you and Stuart in personal danger, but the head of Wycliffe was going, and all the hierarchy, all the big brass from the whole of the organisation was due to be there, and they were sent the same letter because they were under the same duress. So I remember saying to Stuart, oh, what a shame, we won't be going. And I remember him looking at me saying, huh? And I thought, he's going to go. I know it's like a red rag to a bull to my husband saying, it's where the gorillas, I just see him almost as if he's the fighter of the bull and he's got his thing out, waving it in the bull's face. I knew he'd go. But the question was, would I? And I knew that he didn't want me to go. But I also knew that he wasn't going to tell me not to go. And he said, no, I'm not going to do that. You'll have to decide. You'll have to find out. And you let me know. And so we started to pray. We fasted. We asked advice. This went on for months. And we got up to 1 week away, and I still could not make up my mind. I was obsessed. I was going round and round and round and round Jericho. What was faith and what was stupidity, what was being sensible, what about our responsibilities here, it's this whole thing. And of course, with my imagination, I was already sitting in a hut in the jungle, starving, chained to a guard. I superimposed the future onto the present. I was having a wonderful time because I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. And Stuart said, Jill, I have the deadline on you. Christmas Day. That's 1 week away. We have to let them know whether we're going or not. Incidentally, Wycliffe has said we do not give in to guerrillas. We still want you to come. That was the situation. And so we're still going to have the conference. And we need you to come. We are hanging on by our fingernails, these missionaries. We need our conference more than we've ever needed in our life. The last 5 pastors have cancelled on us because of the situation. Please come. So here we were. And so Christmas Day, he comes off to preach. It was on a Sunday, and I knew I had to tell him. And I went upstairs to his study, and he was doing the Family Book of Christian Values, where there's a great big section on faithfulness and love, all these things we had to decide what goes in the book. They were in piles all over the study. And there was a pile on courage. And I thought, well, I'll just start and read some of this. Maybe I'll get a clue. And, of course, it didn't help. It was all about martyrs and things like that. But right at the bottom of the pile, there was a quote, little quote. And on the top, Stuart had scribbled a note, give this to Jill, and he had forgotten to give it to me. And it was the little poem, and the last 2 lines say something about courage is fear that has said its prayers. And all these incidents I've shared with you came running back, the floral hall and everything. Yes. And I knew what was right because we had prayed and sought God's guidance. I knew that I should go. And I knew that my fear was not a good reason to stay. And so I said my prayers and I came to church. And I remember sending Stuart a little note in between first and second service. He just preached a wonderful sermon about Jesus coming to earth. Knowing what would happen to him, he still came. Sure, he didn't want to come, but he did. Because it was the right thing to do. And I said, he came for us, let's go for him. And so we went. And I went frightened. And I stayed frightened. But I was not obsessed. And I functioned. And God enabled me to encourage and to minister. We are still getting letters from those people. Thank you for coming. I can't believe you came. It was such a blessing. And of course, they were such a blessing to us. But courage is doing without the courage. Courage is doing it scared. Courage is doing it when you don't feel like doing it because it's the right thing to do. And the incredible thing is, then the power to do what you're doing is there. Comes after you get yourself inside the floral hall. You know what to do. You know what to say. And you find the adrenaline is there. And you find the anointing is there. And that's a powerful combination. And God comes through. And that's what you do with worry. There is a supply of courage. You have it already. God has given you the will to do his will. Now then, will you do it? That's the question.